So the way it works with food is essentially by caloric density. The higher the caloric density, the more dopamine is secreted in the brain, the better you like the food. Why was your brain designed as a calorie detection device? Think back to the world of our ancient ancestors, an environment of scarcity. Those that got enough to eat survived, those that didn't died. It was more valuable to be able to identify the very, very rich foods that were more likely to get you through that scarcity environment. Salad doesn't happen to be one of them. Salad has 100 calories a pound. Now, how many pounds of salad would you have to eat a day to survive on salad? About 20 pounds a day. Now, if you start at 6 in the morning and you don't stop eating till midnight, can you eat 20 pounds of salad a day? No, you can't do it. So your brain is not stupid. So when your brain sees salad, it says, oh yeah, salad, great. Yeah, I'll have some salad till some more interesting food comes along. But it's not getting excited about it. Because salad, nutritious that it is, rich in fiber, water, vitamins, minerals, doesn't have a lot of caloric density. So therefore, it doesn't result in a lot of dopamine stimulation. On the other hand, fruit has 300 calories a pound, 3 times the caloric density. So fruit will taste better to people because it has sugar, but the sugar stimulates more dopamine production. It's a higher caloric density. Potatoes, rice, and beans at 500 calories a pound, you only need 4 pounds of those a day to survive rather than 20 pounds of salad. So when you're hungry, you're going to be drawn to the more concentrated foods. Totally makes sense. What about if we introduced a food that does not exist, of course, in nature, but had 1,200 calories a pound? Do you think people would like it? If we introduced it in the World's Fair, do you think it would get rave reviews? And what if we called that food ice cream? If you take ice cream and you melt it down to room temperature, it's described as sickly sweet. Why is ice cream sickly sweet when it's warmed up to room temperature, but it tastes so good when it's cold? What's it, sucking sugar out of the atmosphere? No, it's got the same amount of sugar whether it's hot or cold, but you're not designed to detect things well when something's frozen. You've never fallen in an ice cream pond. This doesn't exist in nature. This wasn't part of your evolutionary tree. And as a consequence, to make ice cream perceived as sweet and tasty, they have to super saturate it with sugar. When you warm it up, it makes you sick. It makes you just as sick when it's cold. You just don't know it because your normal filtering mechanism is being short-circuited by this artificial presentation. What about a food with a higher caloric density than ice cream? Do you think people would like it? And do you think they might even call it the staff of life? Have you ever seen this stuff? Crusty on the outside, all soft on the inside. 1,500 calories a pound before you turn it into a butter boat and melt coagulated cow pus all over it. Have you ever been into a restaurant and they have a basket of it on the table? Yeah, it's all covered over. You smell it and your brain goes, ooh, 1,500 calories a pound. Give it to me. And what do? You have a piece or 2 or 3, don't you? What do you notice about the bread in the basket after a while? It's gone. It's all gone. And so what do? You spread that napkin open, get that naked basket and push it right to the end of the table, don't you? Waiting for the waiter to come by to see that you're out of bread. Pretty soon the waiter comes along and says, oh, did you want some more bread? Now first you have to pretend like you didn't know it was empty, and you look over there and say, oh, yeah, sure, why not? What are you really thinking? Does this guy want a tip or not? And they bring you some more bread. Do you ever go into the same restaurant and say, excuse me, waiter, I'd like 3 large baked potatoes because I want to eat those before I order my dinner. Do you eat 3 large baked potatoes before you order your dinner? Why don't you eat 3 large baked potatoes before you order your dinner? Be too full, because the human stomach is only big enough that you put about 3 baked potatoes, that's about 500 calories a potato, it's going to fill up the human stomach mechanically full. There wouldn't be any room left. On the other hand, 500 calories of bread only takes about 1/3 of the stomach because it's 3 times the caloric density, about 1,500 calories a pound. So what do you think it's easier to get fat on? Sugar, pure sugar, is 1,800 calories a pound. You can take just about anything, put enough sugar on it, and people think it's good. Do you ever go into that restaurant, that same restaurant, and they have the sugar on the table? Do you ever take 11 of those packets and just... Why not? It's free. The stuff is so cheap they don't even charge for it. Why don't you have 11 packets of sugar before you start perusing the menu? Have you ever had one of those? 12-ounce Coke. How many teaspoons of sugar? Yeah. So yeah, 11 on the old one. The new stuff, maybe a little more because they figured out how to get it to stay in solution, I think with more phosphoric acid or something. Don't use cocaine anymore. Now they use caffeine. It's probably more effective. Now, it used to be that a Coke was a special treat for a kid. Not anymore. Now it's a big gulp, a super big gulp, a double gulp, and an express gulp with free refills, and pretty soon they're going to need to use a bucket. That's right. And you know, in the future, chiropractors are going to mostly be treating people after they got a soda pop at the... Yeah. 25% of the calories of teenagers, according to some studies in the United States, come from the sugar and soda pop alone. Just sugar-sweetened beverages is responsible for up to 25% of the total calories. But we don't know why the kids are getting fat and sick. It's a mystery. Ooh. What tastes better, salad or chocolate? Now, is that a cultural thing? If we took 100 people from 100 cultures and blindfolded them, mouthful of salad, mouthful of chocolate, you think they could tell the difference? 2,500 calories a pound. I tell patients, look, instead of eating chocolate, what you got to do is melt it down and then rub it all over your belly and hips where it's going to end up. And then when you're done, at least you can wash it off. There was a survey of women, not men, just women. They asked women, what would you rather do, have mad, hot, passionate sex or eat chocolate? And the two most common responses were, what kind of chocolate and how many pieces are we talking about? The pleasure trap is the hidden force that undermines health and happiness. Essentially what's going on here is we're overstimulating the dopamine cascade in our brain by adding chemicals to the food. It leads people to systematic overeating, and that's why people are getting fat and sick. That's the heart disease, the diabetes, much of the cancer, autoimmune diseases. This is all coming back because we're fooling our brains into allowing us to overeat because we're living in an environment different than the one we were evolved to survive in.